I'll never forget the day I stepped foot into Pinnacle Enterprises, just like I had for years, with my mop in one hand and my bucket in the other. Another routine morning, dressed in my worn navy blue uniform, blending into the background of that towering Chicago high-rise. My name? Clara Thompson. Age? 48. And for a long 15 years, I had been just the cleaning lady, the one nobody noticed. Executives in their crisp, expensive suits strode past me, their polished shoes clicking rhythmically on the gleaming marble floors. To them, I didn't exist until suddenly I did. It all began with a careless spilled coffee and a laugh, sharp, cruel, and echoing down the corridors. The source? Victor Lang, the CEO himself. That was the moment I decided. I had taken their mockery for the last time. Enough was enough. Hey, where are you watching this from? Drop your city in the comments. I'd love to know. Night after night, I wheeled my cleaning cart through the deserted offices, their empty desks illuminated by the soft glow of the city skyline beyond those massive glass windows. And every night, one office stood out, the worst of them all. Victor's. Papers scattered across the desk, half-drunk coffee cups littering every surface, as if the place belonged to him alone. Well, he sure acted like it. During the day, I'd hear him, his voice sharp, cutting through the air like a blade, barking orders, firing employees without a second thought, laughing with his corporate buddies about trimming the fat, which really just meant getting rid of hardworking people. Once, I even caught him shredding stacks of documents, financial reports, the kind you don't destroy unless you're hiding something. But I never said a word. I just kept scrubbing, but I was always watching, always listening. What would you do if you saw something shady like that? Then one Tuesday, it got personal. I was scrubbing the lobby floor when Victor waltzed in with his entourage, all smug grins and cocky strides. Right near the elevator, a fresh spill of coffee glistened on the tile, undoubtedly from one of them. And then he turned to me, pointed and sneered. "Clean it up, Grandma." Laughter erupted around me. The entire lobby staff turned to look. My grip tightened around the mop handle, my face burning. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to shout back, to say something, anything. But I swallowed it down. I forced myself to look away. That night, as I pushed my cart alone through the empty corridors, I made a vow.
He would pay for that.
Ever had to bite your tongue so hard it hurt? But here's what Victor and his pack of wolves didn't know. I wasn't just the cleaning lady. 15 years ago, my uncle, quiet, unassuming, yet a shrewd investor, passed away and left me something unexpected. Something powerful.
Shares.
Not just a few, either a significant number. Shares in Pinnacle Enterprises. The kind that came with real power. I could have cashed out. I could have walked away. But instead, I chose to stay.
To watch. To wait.
And as the years passed, I watched Victor transform the company into his own personal playground. I saw good, honest workers get tossed aside like yesterday's garbage, while he spent company money on luxury yachts and high-end parties. But my patience had finally run out. The moment he humiliated me in that lobby, I knew it was time. So I made a call. To my old friend Tom. A lawyer. A damn good one. "Tom," I said, gripping the phone, my heart pounding, "it's time. What's the longest you've ever waited to settle a score?" We met at a quiet little diner across town, far from Pinnacle's prying eyes. Over greasy fries and lukewarm coffee, I laid it all out. The layoffs, the shredded documents, the way he treated us like dirt. Tom leaned in, his eyes sharp. "Clara," he said slowly, "you're the majority shareholder. You've got the power to end this." That's when I showed him my collection. Photos of those shredded papers, the files I'd retrieved from the trash, the emails I'd printed late at night when no one was looking. Evidence. Solid proof. Tom's lips curled into a grin. We hit him at the shareholders' meeting. Hard. I nodded, adrenaline surging through my veins. Ever catch someone doing something they thought they'd get away with? The meeting was just a week away. Until then, I played my part, mopping floors, dusting Victor's office, keeping my head down. But every night, my phone buzzed with Tom's messages. Evidence is airtight. I'd slip into the copy room, printing out more emails, proof of fraud, harassment, corruption. My hands trembled, but for the first time in years, I felt truly alive. One night, I overheard Victor on a call, laughing, talking about how easy it was to squeeze the little people. I smiled to myself. He had no idea what was coming. What's the sneakiest thing you've ever pulled off? The night before the meeting, I barely slept. I sat in my tiny apartment, staring at the neatly stacked pile of papers Tom had put together. Every lie, every stolen dollar, every betrayal, printed in black and white. My uniform hung over the chair, still carrying the scent of bleach. Tomorrow I'd walk in mop in hand. They'd laugh until they didn't. I thought about my uncle, about the trust he placed in me. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was for every janitor, every assistant, every hard-working soul that Victor had trampled. I whispered to myself, tomorrow Victor's done. What keeps you up at night before a big move? The morning of the shareholders' meeting, I stepped into Pinnacle Enterprises just as I always had, bucket rattling, head down, invisible to the suits rushing past. But today was different. The boardroom hummed with tension, executives in their tailored suits murmuring to one another. And at the head of the table, Victor, smug as ever, confident, untouchable. I stood outside the doors, gripping my cart tightly. My phone vibrated in my pocket. A single message from Tom, now. Taking a deep breath, I pushed through the doors. Still in my uniform, I stepped into the boardroom, and every head turned. Victor snorted, waving me off dismissively. What's she doing here? He barked. I took a deep breath, steadied myself, and stepped forward. I'm not just the cleaning lady, Victor. I own this company. Silence. Complete and utter silence. Ever seen someone's face drop like that? Victor let out a forced, hollow laugh. Nice joke, sweetheart.
Get back to your mop.
The board chuckled nervously, waiting for me to back down. But I didn't. I didn't even flinch. I pulled out my folder, slapped it onto the table, and started reading aloud. Falsified reports, illegal layoffs, incriminating emails where he called employees disposable. One by one, the faces in the room went pale. I've got the shares, I said, my voice steady. And I've got the votes. Tom stepped in then, legal documents in hand, confirming everything. Victor's jaw tightened. You can't, he sputtered. Oh, but I can. I cut him off. You're fired, Victor. Right now. What's it like to watch a bully squirm? The boardroom erupted into whispers. Victor stood there, red-faced, fists clenched. This isn't over, he hissed before storming toward the door. I stayed calm, watching him go. Then I turned to the board. Things changed today, I said firmly. No more layoffs for profit. No more treating people like trash. They nodded, stunned. But I wasn't done. I pulled out my phone, swiped to a photo of the cleaning crew, and held it up. These folks deserve raises starting now. At first, there was silence. Then a few claps. Then more. And for the first time in 15 years, I felt seen. Ever had a moment where you finally got to say what needed to be said? Victor didn't go quietly. As I left the building that day, I spotted him in the parking lot, pacing like a caged animal, yelling into his phone. I just kept walking, my bucket rattling one last time. By evening, my phone was lighting up with news alerts. Pinnacle CEO ousted in shareholder coup. Then things got even better. Regulators had seen my leaks. His accounts? Frozen. His yacht?
Seized.
His name? Dragged through the mud. Social media exploded. Tweets calling him a fraud, a bully. Karma didn't wait long. I smiled, sinking into my couch. Ever seen someone's world crash that fast? The next day at Pinnacle, everything felt different. I walked in, no uniform this time. Just jeans and a sweater. And people stared, but not with pity. With something new. Respect. The cleaning crew mobbed me in the break room, grinning. Clara, you really did it, one said, handing me a coffee. I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in years. Later, I sat in Victor's old office, signing papers approving raises, implementing ethical reforms. The view was the same, but this time it was mine. I wasn't invisible anymore. What's it feel like to finally be seen after years of being ignored? Word spread fast. By noon, my inbox was flooded, reporters wanting interviews, old coworkers thanking me. One email stood out. A janitor I'd worked with years ago, fired by Victor for daring to ask for a sick day. You gave us our dignity back. I teared up reading it. Later, as I walked the halls, people smiled at me. Really smiled. A young guy from accounting stopped me. You're a legend, Clara. I shrugged. Just doing what's right. But inside, I felt 10 feet tall. Ever had someone thank you out of the blue like that? That night, I met Tom at the diner where we had planned it all. He was already there, grinning. You're trending, Clara, he said, flipping his phone around. Cleaning lady turned CEO. Headlines everywhere. I laughed, shaking my head. I just wanted Victor gone. Tom leaned back, smirking. You did more than that. You shook the whole company awake. We toasted with soda, cans like kids. Outside, Chicago's skyline blinked like it always had, but I felt different. Stronger. I had spent 15 years waiting. And now? I had won. What's the sweetest victory you've ever tasted? A week later, my phone rang. A local news station wanted me on air, live. I said yes. Nerves tangled in my stomach as I sat under the bright studio lights, telling my story. The mop, the shares, Victor's fall. The host leaned in. Why'd you wait so long? I paused, then answered. I needed proof. And the right moment. The calls flooded in, people cheering, some even crying, saying I'd inspired them to speak up at their jobs. I left the studio shaky but proud. Ever had a moment where you inspired someone without even trying? Back at Pinnacle, I started with small changes that felt big. A suggestion box in the break room. First note? More coffee. I laughed and ordered an extra machine. Then I met with the cleaning crew. What do you need? Better hours. Gloves that don't rip. Done. One guy, Miguel, pulled me aside, eyes bright. My kid saw you on TV. He said, Dad, she's like us. I smiled. Maybe I was just a cleaning lady once.
But now?
I was proof that no one stays invisible forever. I'm here for Victor. Last I heard, he's selling condos in some nowhere town, broke, forgotten, a shadow of the man who once strutted these halls.
Me?
I'm no hero, just a cleaning lady who got fed up. If I can do this, so can you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and check the playlist on screen for more stories like mine. Where do you think karma's headed next?